So after Dr. Amen's clinic and the scans and some adjustments, and I think you tried even harder back then, and but I also felt that that's kind of like the last breaking point, where you felt like, well, now I know what's happening, and I'm trying, but it's still not working. I don't know if that's what you
Yeah.
were thinking. Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
and soon, not too long after that, is where you had the second suicide attempt, um, and that's the most severe one. That literally literally could have died. But
Yeah.
and after that, we just didn't know what else to do, because you're completely off medication, because we couldn't start. Your nervous system was so out of whack. Your
Yeah.
health was such a bad state. We could not restart medication, so we end up taking about 6 months off, and went back to the States, and start to look for other options. I don't know if you how much of that you remembered.
Like I remember, I think it was after, yeah, I think after my second suicide attempt, I remember like at home, I think it was a solid week of, I guess it was like withdrawal, because I remember
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do anything. And I would just, like, I got up out of bed and went downstairs and sat on the couch, and that was all I could do. And I was in so much pain. I was just dizzy, my head was throbbing, and even to this day, I think that was the most pain I've ever experienced. It really, really hurt. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. And I remember just mentally after my second suicide attempt, that attempt, it was intentional, it was calculated, and I was ready to like leave. I was ready to be gone. And I was at peace with it too. I was very ready. And I thought, it was the right thing to do, and it was a pretty good option for what I had at the time. And and so I think after that, after I lived and I went back home, and I just had no more motivation, no more energy, no, like nothing more to give. I
Mm-hmm.
was just there, and I just, yeah, like I didn't have like any more energy. But I remember we went to the US, and there was like a list of things that we wanted to try, and I just thought, okay, I'll do it. I'll put in the effort, but it's almost like too painful to be invested in it. But I'll try. I'll
Mm-hmm.
do it. I'll go through the motions. Like I can make myself go through the motions. I've been doing it all this time. I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But to be invested in it, I couldn't do that. But I remember, I guess I only remember there was like this DBT training, or like
Mm-hmm.
DBT therapy, because I think it was at the Amen clinic where they diagnosed me with, well, I think, was it like depression, anxiety, and BPD, the borderline personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we were gonna start DBT therapy, and I remember going to the first session for that and thinking that, oh, this therapist, this counselor doesn't seem bad. Like I could, like, she's I don't feel like attacked by her. um
Yeah.
and so I was like, okay. But still, I didn't really know. But I remembered like the neurofeedback was the last thing on the list that I wanted to try, because I was like, what is like neurofeedback? I It's like something like your brain and games. So it's
Yeah.
supposed to be kind of fun or something. Like it's like it'll help your brain. And I thought, when I heard about it, I thought it was going to be like you like playing these, like, I don't know, games that tested your reaction time, and that's supposed to like help improve focus or something like that. I thought it was going to be something like
Yeah.
that. And it wasn't at all. But I remember, I think that was the last thing we tried. Because I was like, I don't like. like after we went through the rest of them, I was like, okay, let's do the last one, the games, the brain games.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, that one was the one that worked out the best though, because even after, I don't like, was it like 4 sessions or 2 weeks? I think I was doing 2 sessions a week or something like that. But um, yeah, I remember after just 2 weeks of it,
Yeah, 2 or
I
3
remember
weeks,
waking up.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have been about 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. But after like a very short period of time, I remember waking
Yeah.
up in the morning and like, going to the table and like getting food and then just realizing that, oh, I'm awake and it's like a reasonable time in the morning. And
Mm-hmm.
that was like a huge change because I could sleep for 12 hours, no problem. And I would
Mm-hmm.
sleep for that long all the time and then just sleep. Like half of the day I was sleeping. Um, and yeah, I just remember waking up and thinking like, whoa, that's really weird. Like I have energy. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that was the most significant, that was the thing that made the most significant difference. And it was really, really fast acting too. But yeah, it's just, the changes started really, really early on.
Yeah. So I think you're right. We went through different. We look into different programs, and we were thinking about even maybe hospitalization in the States. They have these live-in programs, and we look
Yeah, I
into.
forgot about that. I didn't remember that.
Yeah, we look into dialectical behavioral therapy, and so we did. You did have a like a consult with one of the therapists, and that's right. You said you felt okay, but you didn't have any faith in it. I think at that point you just like, I'll do whatever, but I don't want to have any hope in anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we were also referred a therapist, trauma therapist that does neurofeedback. We didn't know what neurofeedback. In fact, we never heard of it until she said, "Oh, I have this thing I can try with you, and if you don't want to talk, you cannot talk about it. It's okay. It's still going to work, right?" Yeah. So you went into it. Yeah, I remember you getting better after just a few weeks, and that was a 20-session course. In fact, I think we actually end up doing a few more sessions, more than 20, as much time as we had. And by the end of it, you were not 100% back for sure, but you were well enough to go back to school. So I don't remember. I don't know if you remember how that felt like toward the end in terms of just kind of that gradual improvement over time.
Yeah, I don't really have a great sense of time, but I remember like when I was doing neurofeedback during, I don't know how long it was we were in the States for, or I don't know how long I was doing neurofeedback for, but I remember feeling better, like so much better. And like so much better to the point where I was exercising. I did start exercising when I was there,
Yeah,
and
you
I
did.
did start eating better, trying to make my own like food choices and reading. I started reading because I wanted to understand like what was going on with this neurofeedback thing. I'm like, why is this working? And like why didn't the other things work? And like what's actually going on in the brain? And so I remember like you showed me a couple books, like A Symphony in the Brain. I think that was one of them, and then The Body Keeps the Score. And so yeah, I went through those books and then started reading more about nutrition and things like that. And so even like just in that time period where we're still in the States when I was doing neurofeedback, I felt so much better to the point where I could, start exercising again and make lifestyle changes and, start reading and doing these things
Yeah,
for
and
myself.
you dropped out of school at that time. Actually, you're not even
Yeah.
in school. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I dropped out of school, I think, every year of high school. I dropped out of school at some
That's
point.
true.
Um, yeah, yeah. My freshman year was after the suicide attempt, and then my sophomore year, it was just like some point during the year because we didn't want it to happen again, and I could feel something coming on. And then junior year was after the second suicide attempt. So every year when I was like not doing well, I dropped out of school at some point and then like made up the work and then went back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, and I think the transformation was dramatic. It was miraculous. In fact, so much so that we decided, hey, we have to continue for you to train. And back then it wasn't just you; it was Josiah as well, our youngest. So we both doing. You guys were both doing training, and then we decided to bring this training approach back with us to Taiwan. And I think we're very fortunate that we were allowed to receive the training so that we can do this, continue. And I think originally that's all we wanted to do, just continue this with you guys, and also maybe use it at my work. And back then I was working with adults with intellectual disabilities at a large nonprofit in Taiwan. That was my main work. And 70% of these individuals in these institutions or group homes are on some sort of psychiatric medication. They all have emotional behavioral challenges. And that is just being dumbed down, controlled with medication. So, and then you end up using this technology with many of them as well, and seeing pretty significant impact from violent autistic behaviors to more mild anxiety type of reactions. So we end up doing that, right? In fact, I think I still have a picture of you doing neurofeedback. And I don't know if you can show that real quick.
Really?
A couple slides later.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just basically brainwave amplifier, EEG amplifier, and the feedbacks are usually in some sort of games or 3D environments or graphical images that changes according to your brainwave. So that was a significant piece in your recovery. But we also, I think at that time, realized how significant the nutritional piece was. And so we started to implement, because we know that even with training, your brain is recovering, you still need good building blocks, nutrition for your brain, for your nervous system, for your metabolic system, in order for you to ultimately recover and maintain and even grow. So we start to put in the nutritional pieces as well. So maybe you can tell us, what are some of the things that you find helpful nutritionally?
Yeah, so nutritionally, what I try to do the most is really just avoid things that could like cause harm or inflammation in the brain and in the system. So mostly, I think the first things that we did was try to get rid of inflammatory oils. So like a lot of vegetable oils, seed oils, and refined sugar. And so, like, I remember a couple simple things I did to start was get rid of food that was processed, like packaged, like chips or like any like crackers or anything, and or like a lot of snacks, like packaged snacks and stuff, and any food with added sugars. So I still did eat, carbs and like fruits and things like that, but tried to just primarily get my food from whole foods and whole food sources, like the actual food, and like like cooked meals from, you know, real foods.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we end up cooking a lot more, buying groceries, become picky about where to eat. Like if we eat out, it's usually like sushi, sashimi, or a hot
Yeah.
pot or something like that. So yeah, so nutritionally, we start to dig into it because you also have because just the overdose and all kinds of things, you still have lingering health challenges. So like even after we
Yeah.
came back, you had a lot of digestion issues. I mean, we're going to the hospital to clinics like every couple of
Yeah.
weeks or once a month, and just keep
Yeah.
adding medications. Now it's for your stomach. I think that was a huge
Mhm.
one. Right.
Yeah. So my health overall didn't get completely better from there. I think well, the neurofeedback really helped me mentally. So like mentally, when I went back, my challenges were mostly health issues. School was great. School was completely fine. I ended up like redoing junior year. So I did went back to Taiwan, did my junior year and senior year, and I did great. Like it was great in school. Got like straight A's. It was school became
Yeah.
so easy.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah, which was really crazy. But I think that that does show that, you know, it wasn't completely a matter of willpower or discipline. Like I
Hmm.
was capable of that. It's just I didn't have the tools or didn't have a good setup, you know, mentally in my brain. Um, but yeah, school was very easy. But I still had a lot of like gut issues, and I think that that largely was because of the overdoses.
Hmm.
So kind of wrecked my gut, and so I had a lot of different digestive issues. Probably like, you know, terrible leaky gut, and yeah, so I dealt with that. And yeah, over time it's I've just been experimenting a lot with my diet and making different variations and trying different different things. But yeah, it definitely wasn't completely better after that.